Hi, welcome to today's Odd Animal Day. We are on to letter G, which in Odd Animal ABCs does not stand for giraffe, but for genet. Genets are similar to yesterday, a slender cat-like mammal, but these creatures are actually native to Africa. Yesterday's was native to Madagascar. They have really long ringed tails, large ears, and you can't see quite as well on this illustration, but we will add it into our drawing. They also have black spots that cover the rest of their body. So let's get started. Grab your blank sheet of paper and a drawing utensil. And today we're going to turn our paper short ways facing you. So grab your paper and your marker, and we'll start with the eyes. On the upper portion of the paper, slightly to the right side, as you can see here on my demo drawing, he's going to be sitting down. So we want a little bit of height. So for the eyes, we're going to do them a little bit differently today. I want you to draw a letter C shape, and they're pretty small, about the size of a dime. One facing the correct direction, and then a backwards C. These are going to be the start of our eyes. So about at the same level, same size and shape. Next, I'm going to color that in about halfway on either side. And then to finish them, I'm going to do a point that comes out to the side here. So I'm going to draw up to a point and then back down. So it's slightly curved on either side to frame the pupil and the iris that we already drew for his eyes. Same thing, just facing the opposite direction on the right side here. And there's his eyes. For his nose, I'm going to make it just slightly pointed at the bottom. Similar to yesterday, we'll take it flat across the top and then to a little curve, almost to a point at the bottom there. We can add nostrils with a simple dot on either side. And then we'll do the mouth. A curve, an U shape coming out to the left here. Same thing on the right. So here's the left side and the right. And I mentioned at the beginning they have really large ears. So I want to do like an upside down U shape that tilts slightly out towards the side to the left here, and then we'll do the same thing on the right, just diagonal across from the eyes that we already drew. And you can make them pretty large. So there's one, and then we'll do the same shape over here. I'm going to draw a smaller U shape inside to give them a little bit of depth. And there's his ears. For fur across the top of his forehead, you can just draw a series of short lines. Maybe they get a little bit taller and thicker towards the center to give him some personality. And then for the rest of his face, I'm going to do a curve that connects under his mouth here to the left side, and then same thing here on the right. So starting at the corner of his ear, we'll take that down to his mouth, and then same thing on this side to complete his right cheek. And then I'm just going to color that in with a line across the bottom here. Next, they do have some markings on their face. So the black markings are just simply lines that I've drawn in between his eyes here, and they don't have to be a particular length. I varied short and long lines. And then they also have lines that come out to the sides of their faces. So I'm just going to alternate the direction here and start to color those in. So there you have some of his markings on his face. And they have whiskers, right? They're cat-like animals. So I'm going to draw a couple lines out to the left and out to the right. Next, we're going to do the body, and as we've done on previous days, we're going to combine the tail here. So I'm going to take a large line that curves from his left cheek all the way down to the bottom, almost all the way over to the right side here, and that's going to be a portion of his tail. So we'll do that all at once. So starting on the left side, take that curve out to the left and tuck it under. And then while we're here, let's keep going. I want you to curve it over at the end so we can give him that big bushy tail. And then we're going to take it in right about to here, so 3 or 4 inches off of the left side of the page to connect it with his body. From here, we're going to do his back hip. So I'm going to do a curve right about halfway down his body here. So So there's a portion of his back leg, and then a straight line towards the tip of his tail for his leg. And then we'll do his toes, a series of curved lines. We've done those before, and then just connect them on the bottom. For his front legs, I'm going to start with a diagonal line similar to where it's pointing on his back here, and just draw that towards his hip. And then we'll take another one going the opposite direction towards his back foot. And then another one connecting to his hip there. It's just touching because it's tucked behind that back leg. And then we'll do the toes. 3 curves, and then connect there. And then we'll give him his other front leg. First, I'm going to draw a portion of his neck, though. So from his cheek almost all the way down to this leg here, not quite touching. Just a diagonal line. And then we'll do the other leg. Parallel to this line, just going to draw another one straight down like that, about an inch or so away from our first leg. And then we'll do those toes. And they can be tucked behind what we've previously drawn here. And now for the fun part, we can add the rest of his stripes and spots. I did not mention before, many of the Genets have a black crest of fur on their back here. So I'm going to add a little bit of texture and just draw some lines coming down the back here. You can take it all the way down to the tip of his tail. And then to finish his tail, we have those great rings. So again, it's just lines that I've drawn out here to create the texture of the fur. The tips of their tails are black, and then spaced out maybe an inch or so in between. You can decide. We'll make the rings. Let's take that all the way up to where it connects with his body. And then finally, we'll add the spots. So on their back, they're a little bit larger, and I'm just making that texture of fur again. Doesn't have to be perfect. They can be slightly different shapes, and then they get a little bit smaller as we get closer in towards his body and then on his legs as well. So you can vary the shape and the size. And when you feel like you've done enough, maybe you go ahead and color him in. They are typically a gray color for the majority of their body with the black on top of that. And then they do have pink noses and pink inside their ears and luminous yellow eyes. So maybe you make him look natural, or maybe you grab some different colored markers and make him all your own. See you tomorrow.